Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of What the Haul. In this episode, we're doing another one brand review. We're going to be talking about RéVive. This shade of green in this tracksuit top is the exact same shade of green. Look at that. Look, I'm coordinated. So if you're not familiar, I'm Mohammed. This is What the Haul. And at What the Haul, it's all skincare, fragrance, beauty, all that sort of stuff, bar makeup. And so I've done a few videos like this where I've scooped up a number of things from one brand. I've lived with it for several months. Either I finished it or I'm near the end of it in this case. After having used it for so many months, I can speak to it. After having done a couple of these videos, I've decided I'm just going to make these really brief and really zero in on pros and cons. Would I repurchase it? Where do you buy it if you're so inclined? Giving you all that sort of top line sort of information, but ultimately the choice is yours. And if you like my delivery, stick around, subscribe, do the damn thing. Just a couple of things to share about the brand in terms of background and a little bit of history. If you go onto their website, there's an entire timeline about their hero ingredient, EGF, epidermal growth factor. The brand launched in '97 at Neiman's. The gentleman who started the brand is Dr. Gregory Brown, and I believe he is a plastic surgeon. I'm just going off the top here. Once somebody had deduced that it can be used in treatments and cosmetics, etc., that's like the mustard seed that leads to RéVive coming into the marketplace. The parallels between RéVive and La Mer are very obvious, right? So an American scientist, NASA research, and we're going to give the product a very French-sounding name. Are we saying Revive? They're tapping into that sort of goodwill that French brands have in the beauty space, but nothing French about this product. I mean, everything is made in the US. So when I was seeing this brand, I was always hearing about growth factor, growth factor, growth factor. It kind of scared me a little bit when I see things like placenta or snail mucus. The other thing that always appealed to me about this product was it has glycolic. And having learned about AHA in my 20s, I was like, okay, I respond well to glycolic and all the rest of it. So this might be something for me when I'm older. And now I'm a little bit older. I decided to finally tap into this brand. In Canada, we have very interesting rules about naming and the sorts of language that brands can use. And I don't know this to be true, but I have an inclination that the growth factor claims would have been a hurdle for them entering the Canadian market, because I don't think you can make those sorts of claims in Canada without either having the evidence, or if there is evidence for growth factor, I wouldn't be surprised if Health Canada finds that objectionable. I could be completely wrong, but that's just my sort of logic. I picked up 5 items. Some of the B-roll was recorded when I was away for a weekend. I was staying at a nice hotel and I thought that would be the perfect opportunity to record some content, and I think I did a really job. You win some, you lose some. First thing that I want to speak about, the Moisturizing Renewal Cream. This is the hero product. One size fits all skin types, all concerns. Across the Moisturizing Renewal product, there is something called a biopeptide, which is supposed to be the proprietary anti-aging element. It definitely has a prickly sensation. So for those of you who know your AHA, a lot of times you get that sensation and you know that the product is actually exfoliating the skin, right? It has this strange sort of velvety gel texture. It really slides. It has like a nice slip to it. One thing I disliked about it is the fragrance. It's quite herbally and really sharp. Now, speaking to the efficacy and the quality of the product, like I said, yes, you wake up in the morning, the skin has that sort of wet look, and when you're using an AHA, you want to wake up in the morning with that wet look to know that the skin has renewed or it's done something, right? In the middle of this protocol, there was a moment when I was using Guerlain Habillé, the new clarifying, brightening, whatever, and I did have a bad reaction to it, to the point where I had a visible reaction. When I went back to this, took down the redness and got rid of any of that scaling, and I didn't have any residual scarring. It's a great product. I probably wouldn't repurchase it. Nothing wrong with it, but I just wasn't in love with it enough. I love a good essence, and they do have a moisture renewal essence, or enzyme essence they call it. It's biphase, think Bifacils Lancôme, and it's enzyme based, so it has papain and bromelain. Papain is papaya, bromelain is pineapple. Shake it up, it goes cloudy, pour it into your palms, press it into the skin. The oil phase in this product is so heavy. No matter how much you shake it, you can always see the particles. It never fully emulsifies. When I was using the La Mer Renewal oil, that's also biphased, right? But that went completely cloudy. For that reason, you have to be very sparing, because if you put too much on, when you go to apply your moisturizers, they're just kind of sliding. You need to give it a couple of minutes to completely absorb and to dry down before you layer your moisturizers on top of it. So that was been my experience with it. I love the fragrance. It's very perfumey. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a great add-on if you need more moisture, because the classic moisturizing renewal cream, it is supposed to be a one size fits all. They do make one that's richer, and they do have a lotion that's a lighter version, but I've heard bad things about the rich version of the renewal cream. And then last, as part of the core routine, I picked up the moisturizing renewal cream with the SPF 30. This is only available through the RéVive website. You can't get it at Holtz or any of the other domestic retailers. Where the renewal cream was effective, but it was lacking in that delight or that pleasure, that sensorial element. The day cream is beautiful. It's really nice and buttery. It has a nice sort of slip. It feels really protective, deeply moisturizing, not greasy. There's nothing else to phone home about. It doesn't have the AHA, which is fine. It has the peptide and all the rest of it. But there's just something about it that feels really standard. But I would absolutely repurchase the essence, and I would repurchase the day cream because it was a great cold weather moisturizer. I would avoid it for the summer and the early fall. I did not pick up any cleansers and toners from RéVive because there was nothing in any of the cleansers or any of the hygiene products that was calling me or really speaking to me. They came out with a foam cleanser sometime last year, I think. With foam cleansers, 9 out of 10, they're always ugly and feel waxy, like the one from Creme de la Mer. Very rarely are they ever as light and as delightful as the one from Moisturizing, right? They have a wicked foam cleanser. I also skipped the serum category and the eye products. One, because I don't really need an eye cream right now. The serums at RéVive just weren't calling me. They have a renewal serum, but that feels redundant. They also had a vitamin C serum that came in 2 chambers, which has been replaced by a new one that just launched. And there was a 4D hyaluronic serum, which if you've listened to me enough now, you know I need something more. But that said, I was using my Dr. Dennis serum, which I thought was a perfect complement to the rest of the routine. To partner or to kind of complement all of this stuff, I picked up one of their masks and their manual exfoliant. The idea of using manual exfoliants is not really in vogue. Now this, which they call lip polish, is a microderm product. It's alumina in a cream base. If I could compare it in terms of texture, Dr. Brandt, which is the iconic, the legendary at-home microdermabrasion, is very, very fine and very thorough. Whereas Kiehl's makes a microderm product that's in a very thick paste and is really chunky. This is just right in the middle. The way I've been using it, every 2 or 3 weeks when I feel like I really want to get rid of all that dead skin and get that fresh feeling immediately. At the tail end of a shower, when my skin or my face is still so soft from the steam and all the water, that's the time when I will use the polish. And also light hands, not too vigorous, not too much pressure when you're using it. Let the granules do all the work. You just need to kind of move it around. Great product. Definitely one that I would repurchase. Lastly, I got the Masque de Brilliance, which is their AHA at-home peel. The most active, most effective at-home peeling product that I've ever used. Number 1 is First Aid Beauty, RIP. But number 2, and one that you can still get your hands on, is the Dr. Seabag Deep Exfoliating Mask. It's almost like going to a Medi Spa. It's very, very active. This is nothing in comparison to that. It's not camphor-y or doesn't have any menthol or anything like that, but it's not doing enough. Also, problem with this one is that it's a very runny solution. So it comes with a spatula or like a mask brush, right? A silicone brush. So the idea that you can pour it right onto the brush and then just sweep it onto the skin. When you put it on your forehead, for example, you know, just kind of sliding down. It's really unpleasant. So when I put it on, I start to rub it in straight away and then go over with the mask just to make sure I've hit all the spots. It's pearlescent, like it has like almost like a hologram thing in the gel. It's a nothing sort of product. I'm sure that the people who are not too experienced with AHA, they may be wowed by it. If you put it on bone dry skin, meaning that you've washed and you've let your skin start to get tight and almost feel like it's shrinking, that would be a good time to use it. And I say that because anytime I've had a chemical peel, they always pass rubbing alcohol all over your skin so that the acid can do its job more effectively. And I think that might be a way to get more out of this product, is not doing the alcohol piece, but just making sure that the skin is bone dry, no moisture whatsoever, and it might be more active. But it's an absolute skip. And also that implement, at first I wasn't really using it too much, but then once I actually started to like using it, I dropped it and it broke. You know, what's that about, right? You're gonna sell me this really expensive mask and you're gonna include an implement. What at least make sure that the implement is worth something, right? It's really annoying. The whole brand is very expensive, but one of the better points about the mask and the exfoliant is that they are in 75 ml tubes, so you're getting a lot of product. I'll give them that much. So that's my experience with RéVive. If you would be so kind as to leave a comment if you are currently using the brand, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Did you like it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know. I'm curious. As always, thumbs up, thumbs down, however this moved you. There is an entire playlist of one brand reviews much like this one. Subscribe, please do that. Thank you for listening. Thank me for speaking. I will catch you in the next one. Adios.